Now, in this video, I want to kind of introduce you to how Tab works. This is a program called Power Tab Editor. This is free to download for Windows computers. I'm also going to show you the same exact thing on a program called Table Edit. Okay, or Table Edit, however you want to call it, it's Tab. So I made this as big as I can. This says Tab here. This is a traditional treble clef. Now, what we're going to show is not only how the guitar is tuned, but where it's located on the piano, according to the piano, and why. The piano is, when it says middle C, on the guitar, the note would be here, on the second string, first fret. Now let me make that bigger, okay? Let me make that bigger for you so you can see it. View, fonts. I'm going to make that as big as I can. At least big enough where you can see it really good. Okay, that way we can see the one there on the second. This is now these, what these lines are, these 6 lines. There's 6 lines here. This top line is the guitar's highest string here. Okay, that's a 6th string. Now the reason being is it's on top is because as music goes up the staff, it gets higher in pitch. As it gets lower, it goes lower here. So the lowest note we got is open E, which I'll show you that's at. Now on the piano, this is the middle C. But as you can see, it's not middle C here. What is middle C on the guitar is located here. And as you can see it, I'm going to make these all quarter notes. Makes it a little easier to look at. Okay, this is what they consider middle C. But on the piano, that's an octave lower. So this would be played 3rd fret, 5th string, like this. That's an octave lower. That's an octave lower than on the piano. But the reason being is they want to make sure to put most of the guitar tab on the treble clef range. So it's a lower octave. That's the reason being. Okay, so let me explain why this works and how. If we was to take the guitar strings and play it with no left hand, we're playing what they consider open string. You're not pushing down on anything. We'll have a 0 there. That means we want to play that note open. This is a low E. The next one, open, will be an A, a low A. Then a D. Then a G, B, and E. These are the notes on the guitar. Open. So if you strum it with no hand configuration, these by putting them individually like this is what they call arpeggios, or just notes of a chord. Now this is not a chord, but they're just single notes all together. If I was to put them all on top of each other, 0, and I'm going to go up 0, that's considered like a chord. You're strumming. In this particular case, you're strumming all strings open. Now this is not a chord because it doesn't make any chord configuration. So let me take all this off again so we understand how that works. Let's go into chords, the basic chords. The basic chords we teach at the very beginning is the G, C, and D. So we're going to use those 3 chords right now to show you how they look on tab. So first thing I'm going to do is when we play the guitar, when we make a G chord, we want to take our 3rd finger or ring finger down on the bottom string, 3rd fret. Take your middle finger all the way up to the top, and then your 1st finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. So that's how a G chord will look. So now, how do we get that to be put on paper? Remember, all these strings are on the tab. So what we're going to do is mark them with numbers. These numbers tells you what fret to put your finger on. So, for example, if I'm using my middle finger on the very top string, 3rd fret, then I want a 3 here. Okay, I'm putting my 1st finger on this 2nd fret, 5th string, so I want a 2 here. And if I'm playing all these other strings with no frets, Then put zeros there. So that's 0, 0, 0. And then the bottom string will be on the 3rd fret as well. Okay? So it's going to look like that. So I'm going to put a 3 here. That would be a G chord. That's playing the whole strings from the top 6th string to down to the bottom 1st string. So it sounds like this. But what if I want to play it individually? What if I want to say, okay, I don't want to just play a chord. I want to play some notes within the chord. Okay? Or maybe I want to pick individual. If I want to pick the top string first, then pick the next string, and then strum the rest. I go 0, 0, 0, 3. So what I'm doing here in this particular case is I'm picking the 3rd string. Okay, you see the top string, then pick the next one and strum the rest. So let me zoom out a little bit more so you can see what I'm doing. Maybe you can see me better now. So I'm picking the top string, then pick the 5th string, then strum the rest. Okay? Down here more. So I'm picking the top string, picking the 5th string, and strum. Simple enough. That's all I'm saying is up there. Now, so if I play the C chord, I can go, in particular case, I can do 3, 2, 0, 1, 0. That's what I consider a C chord. Now also, the C chord can include the 3rd string, the 3rd fret here, as well as here. I could substitute the 0. I can substitute the 0 to a 3, or I can have a 3 here as well. So if we look at the C chord, I can do with just the first indication here, 0, 1, 0, 2, 3, which is my C configuration here. Or I can add the 3 at the very bottom string and still make a C chord. Or I can add the top string and add a still C chord. But basically the typical C is here. Okay, now next one's a D chord. So we want this to be 2, 3, and 2. So 2, 3, and 2. So it look like this. 2, 2, and 3. So if I was to strum that, I want to get this here. Now if we look, so far I've only made, you see it's got a sharp note up here. So if I put this in a key of G here, that will go away. Now we don't see that now because it's automatically understood that note's going to be a sharp note, which is what we're doing most of the time when we learn the guitar. We want to learn it in the key of G, so you won't see individual sharp notes on that F line as it's at the very beginning. So that's what means the key of G. And now this shows you how we're going to play individual notes, strum, and you can substitute the 3 for. Now, what if this is your basic? So when you see numbers on top of each other like this, that's basically saying strum that. Okay, you're just strumming it, whether it be the pick or your fingers. We just want the whole strum to count as, in this particular case, as one beat. So let's do this number. I'm going to take the song, the Wildwood Flower. I'm going to open it up. And we're going to look at that, how I'm going to change the note. Now you see a lot more together now here. Let's break this down first. One, there's no sharps or flats indicated here. Okay? This means this is in the key of C. Typically, if there's no time signature shown, typically it's going to be in the key, 4/4 timing. That's what the common time is. Sometimes it's not shown. Sometimes it's a C. Sometimes it's 4/4, depending on look at it. This is common time, 4/4. So if we count, this is a quarter note, that's 1. This is quarter note 2, quarter note 3, 2, 2 eighth notes, so that's 4. That's 4 beats right there. 2 eighth notes, 1, 2, 3, and that's 4. So we got 4/4 timing in this song. That's how you can pretty much judge. If you don't see something there, the C or 4/4 3/4, you can count the quarter notes, how many quarter notes are between the vertical staffs. If you count 4 quarter notes within the vertical staffs, then you got 4 beats per measure, because a quarter note gets 1 beat. Now, if we look here further, we're going to play 2, then 3, and then we're going to do what, like I said before, we're going to do a strum. This could be a pick. You could use 2 fingers to do those 2 notes, and you could just strum down. So these 2 notes, these 2 here are strum. Now, what is this curve here? We got a 0, 2, and it got a curve on top of it with an H. That basically means I'm going to hammer that note. I'm going to start with open, and as I'm ringing the note through, I'm going to hammer that note. So it's going to sound, that's going to sound like this. It's on the 3rd string. So I count 3rd string, and as I'm picking the note, I'm going to hammer it. Then later you'll see down here on this particular one here, it's got a P 2 to 0. So I'm going to go, I'm on the 4th string, and as I'm ringing the note, I'm going to pull off on it. So it's called a pull off. So as I'm playing here on the 4th string, as I ring the note, I'm going to pull off. So you hear an A and a G. That's how you do the hammer-ons and pull-offs. Now, in this particular song here, you're pretty much going to stay in a C chord position. Okay? You just keep your fingers pretty much right here, and everything you can get, pretty much right where you're already at. So if I was to play this the way I know, and I'm not playing it note by note there, but you watch my fingers are staying right where it's at. You're not doing a lot of moving around. You're staying right in the C chord position. Now there's a part where you go to an F. We just drop down. And then when you go to G, you can just walk up. But you're pretty much staying right there in the C chord position during the whole song. Now this is showing you how to read tab, how to understand what the hammer-ons are and the pull-offs are. And by looking at it, you know it's 4 beats per measure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what's up here, this up here is 150. It means it's 150 beats per minute. Okay? So if we think of a beat as per second, so if we say 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, that's a beat per second. That's 60 beats per minute. Now, if I was to say, okay, I want to count that, but I'm going to count it faster, so I go 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Then that's going to be 120 beats per minute because I'm clapping twice by the time I say 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. I'm just clapping faster. So we can base it on 60 to 120. 60 is 60 beats per minute, 1 beat per second. 120 beats per minute is 2 beats per second. Or you can just think about another way of looking at it is if you wrote these in quarter notes, if I wrote these in quarter notes and played 60, or if I wrote these in eighth notes and played 60, it'd be almost the same exact as playing in quarter notes, playing 120. I got to play them just as fast. So you got to think about how fast you're playing. This is playing 150 beats per minute with the quarter notes. So you want to get one that in 150 times in 1 minute. That's what that means. And it's not really that complicated once you understand it. Now, if we come down here, you can see these down here is 4-2-0 pull off. You're going to go backwards. You're going to go 4-2-0. So 2-0 pull off. Now, these here are just basically what they call a boom chick method. You're playing one note and you're strumming. So that's boom chick. So we understand when anybody talks about boom chick method, they mean hit a note and strum. Hit a note, strum. Boom chick, like a drummer would do. Boom chick, boom chick. That's what you're doing here in this particular case. You're hitting the note, you're hitting the G note here and you're strumming. Hitting the C note here and strumming. So what they're doing in this particular case, if you look here, 0, 1, 02, this is a C chord configuration. So what I'm doing is alternating bass. That's all I'm doing in this particular case is making a C chord and alternating the bass. So that's going to look like this. So when you play your guitar, you're going to make a C chord configuration. This first one here is a G note here. So I'm going to put my finger up here and I'm going to go. That's all I'm doing there. And that's for till we get to here. Now that's going to be, I'm going to drop to the first string and play it. So what I'm doing here in that particular case is playing a G7. So if we look at the chords here, 0, 0, 0, 1, with that G bass, and I'm adding an F note. So I'm playing a G7 right here. That's all we're doing. So we're going from G, we're going from C here to G7, G7, back to C, C. So all you gotta do is look at the chord configurations on how you're making your chord, so you know what chord you're making. And by looking at it on here, you say, okay, that's a C chord, that's a G chord, because you know where your fingers are located. So this is how you play the Wildwood Flower and understanding in tab.